and people of Georgia, Carolina. This is the Means Report. Here is Brad Means.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Means Report. We are grateful to you for spending part of your Sunday with us, especially if you're watching this on its original air date, which is Mother's Day. We'll begin the broadcast by wishing a happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We hope you especially are having a wonderful weekend. You deserve it, that's for sure. We're going to tackle some issues that have been affecting the CSRA over the past few days on this edition of the Means Report, beginning with downtown. There's been some violence over the past week or so down there. There have also been some efforts to address the perception of downtown community-wide and talk about what really is happening down there and what the future holds as far as businesses downtown, people living downtown, people just paying a visit. We're going to talk to Margaret Woodard, the Director of the Downtown Development Authority, about that in just a few seconds. We're also going to spend our second segment talking about lupus. And if you don't know a whole lot about it, you're not alone. Many people don't have any idea what lupus is, so we're going to take this opportunity to tell you about it, some of the signs and symptoms, treatments, and just really create general awareness of this disease that affects so many people, and it can attack any part of your body, inside, outside, and you'll be interested to stick around to find out more about lupus so that you can walk away empowered by that knowledge. First, though, the Downtown Development Authority's leading lady is Margaret Woodard. She's no stranger to News Channel 6, and we appreciate, Margaret, you stopping by, first of all, today, but always for sparing the time to talk to us. Thank you for that.
You've been great to us.
Well, it's our pleasure too, and we're big fans of downtown overall. However, we are all concerned with what's been happening lately. Let me start with the most recent developments, and that's a meeting that the DDA had today. We tape this broadcast on Thursday afternoons. Y'all had a meeting today. What was discussed? What are some of the highlights you can share with us about that get-together?
Well, today, Brad, we did talk about the incidences that had happened downtown and the meetings that we have had with city leaders this week and what we can do to help. The DDA wants to assist in any way possible.
I want to recap what happened this week, but before I do, let the people watch these stories kind of understanding what the DDA's role is. What is your role in general? Is it just to promote downtown, to encourage people to live and work down there? What's the DDA's official mission, if you will?
It's economic development. Mm-hmm. It's getting new businesses, new development, bringing people downtown, bringing businesses.
Okay, let's take a look back at the week that was, beginning late last Friday night with an attack on the Riverwalk. You had a young couple from Aiken County and Edgefield County, South Carolina, respectively, who were on a date. They went down to the Riverwalk near the conclusion of their date, and Ashley Bridges takes it from there.
He's not the kind of person that would provoke anybody to, beat him in the way that they did.
That's Wesley Spires' uncle, Rick Miller. He says Wesley loves his family, but the people in the CSRA who count Wesley as family extend far beyond blood. Pastor Lance Thomas is from Wesley's church family.
It's just a time when you go through a little bit of shock, the fact that it's happened to someone that you're so close with.
And there are many others.
He is such a dear part of our family that, he was seriously the next person to hold our children when we brought them home from the hospital.
Yancey Sherrill says Wesley started as an employee and became family.
They don't make them like Wesley. He's just a true good country boy who's wonderful. It's just great.
Across the CSRA, families like the Sherrills are focusing on how they can help Wesley's family. People have banded together to establish a donation fund to help with medical expenses. The family says that's about a lot more than money.
The first thing I'd probably tell him is he's got a lot of people behind him. He's got a lot of people that really love him.
And while the community is giving, they say they hope the sheriff's office is getting the people responsible.
We are to be forgiving people, but we also know that when people do things like that, the justice needs to be served.
So that is the Wesley Spires angle of all of this. What about his date that night, Ashley Soulsby? Ashley Bridges catches us up to date on her.
Christ forgave you, so you also must do.
Ashley Soulsby says she's alive because of two reasons: God and Wesley Spires.
He raced me into the ER and just refused to be seen until they were taking care of me. He's my hero.
For Wesley and Ashley, Friday night was supposed to be special.
Friday night was their actual first date, and she was so looking forward to that.
And it started that way. Dinner at Ashley's favorite restaurant, ice skating, and then...
We weren't ready to end the night, but we're not ready to meet each other's parents yet, so the Riverwalk sounded great, and it was beautiful.
Then the unthinkable. The couple was beaten with an aluminum batter pipe on Riverwalk. Wesley managed to drive them to the hospital. Ashley was beaten so severely that she's not showing her face. Not because she's embarrassed, but to be sensitive to the small children she teaches.
No parent should have to see their child. It looked like somebody grabbed her feet, turned her upside down, and dipped her into a can of red paint.
For Wesley, it was even worse. Still, both families say anger is not the answer.
It's very important to me that the community not be angry at the circumstance. I mean, don't be angry. If you are, just put that anger into prayer.
And Ashley says she wants to see those two men again.
I think I would want to sit with them face to face, talk to them, and let them know that they don't have to continue with this life. They can move forward.
She also has words for Wesley.
I want Wesley to know that I'm waiting. I want to see him, and I'm waiting on him.
And we certainly are hoping for the best for both of those people. And there was this, and Margaret, if you'll bear with me for one more bit of bad downtown news, the video that surfaced about midweek that had been on YouTube, and the sheriff's office didn't even know about it until we showed it to them, and then the investigation really began in full force. But this is just a bunch of people relentlessly beating on one another for the better part of 3 minutes on Broad Street. And so you have two glaring incidents of violence in a few days' time. This was late night on April 27th, early morning on April 28th, and then the Wesley Spires, Ashley Soulsby attack was this past Friday, Friday week by the time this Means Report comes on TV. So it's been a horrible week all the way around. As far as the Downtown Development Authority is concerned, as far as you and your fellow downtown leaders are concerned, what can we do going forward to one, make these things not happen if that's possible, and to address downtown's image to those who have a bad perception of it?
Well, first of all, Brad, I think we're going to have to rethink how we have looked at downtown the last 5 years and as we go forward. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is you've got a brand new tea center that's opened, you have got a lot more restaurants, you have got a tremendous amount of more people living downtown. So it's not that persona of people driving downtown at 8, leaving at 5, and going home. Mm-hmm. And that downtown used to be, didn't have a lot of street life at night and foot traffic. That has changed. And we're going to need to look at how we protect people and make our visitors feel safe. And an example is the Riverwalk, where that unfortunate, horrible incident happened. You've got a new hotel coming down at the Gordon Highway that'll have direct access to the Riverwalk. You're going to have an occupancy rate at the Marriott that's going to be phenomenal and good with the Tea Center. You're going to have visitors wanting to walk on the Riverwalk at night, and they should. It's beautiful. It's our Savannah River. It's our main street. So we've got to look at lighting. We've got to look at different options of what we can do for the safety of our visitors and residents.
Are you a fan of cameras too? There was a lot of discussion about that this past week. Do you like cameras on the Riverwalk and in other spots downtown, surveillance cameras?
Cameras, a lot of the downtown businesses do have surveillance cameras. For example, there was one on the J.B. White's building. However, the rotation had run out and that fight was a week old. What cameras do is people know their cameras. I think they may hesitate about what they're going to do. Light is another thing. If you look at well-lit storefronts, well-lit buildings downtown, you don't see trash. You don't see where people have used it as a public bathroom. So light's important. And cameras may have helped identify this, the assailants on the Riverwalk, but I also think if there's a public campaign that says, hey, this is for everyone's safety, people would think twice about going downtown and committing a crime.
What kind of cooperation are you getting from the Sheriff's Office? Are you hopeful that the law enforcement presence can increase or that they can do something to help make people feel safe?
Well, we met with Patrick Clayton, Chief Clayton, yesterday, and he was wonderful. And we were able to report at our board meeting this morning that they already have increased extra cars downtown in the evenings. They are looking at extra bicycle patrols in the evenings. Right now they have bicycle patrols during the day. Where the challenge is now is when the bars close at 2 o'clock.
Right.
You know, there's a tremendous amount of foot traffic, and there just needs to be extra presence there to get everybody to their cars and home. And they're also, from what I understand from the meeting yesterday, they're looking at possibly adding some foot patrol in those early morning hours.
What's the reaction from business owners that you're hearing? Is it, what is the vibe downtown right now among business owners? Are they kind of demanding more from law enforcement? Are they saying, hey, let's not make a bigger deal out of this than it is? Is it somewhere in between that? What's happening with them?
There's a tremendous sense of community downtown. I think that's one of the reasons why I live there as well and work there. Everyone's really band together this week to ask and see what we can do to change that perception, but it hasn't been hostile or demanding.
Yeah.
It's been, what can we do to help? And how can we promote safety downtown? And what can we do to, like for example, there's safety in numbers, there's, you know, stay in well-lit areas, what can we do? And I know Frog Hollow, I just saw a campaign they've started, which I'm really excited about, is about the positive things, all the graduations that are coming up this weekend, all the people that are going to be downtown, and that business is going on as usual.
I don't know anyone in my circle of friends who will go downtown right now. Is the message to them, hold off until the police presence is in full force, hold off until the Sheriff's Office finishes making its move? How do we talk to them and say it's okay to come? Or do we right now? You've talked about things that are in the works. Should we hold off till those things are implemented?
I don't think that's necessary. I think it's like if you would love to come downtown and have dinner,
right.
you know, that's fine. I mean, downtown doesn't get crazy really till sometimes 2 in the morning, and that's generally Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night when you have a lot of the bars opening up and a lot of kids downtown. I think downtown's perfectly safe. I'd come down, I'd have dinner, I'd be with my friends, I'd enjoy it.
Have you heard from Sheriff Roundtree in all this? We asked him to be on the Means Report. He had another commitment, so he couldn't make it. Has he weighed in?
He, I guess, has weighed in through Chief Clayton, and that's who we met with yesterday. But no, I've not directly spoken with Sheriff Roundtree.
Any difference in the relationship with Sheriff Roundtree than the one you had with Sheriff Strength? Any difference when it comes to downtown that you can feel or tell so far?
Not yet, no, sir.
No, seems okay? Well, how long then until everything is in place, until people can say, okay, I see that they've taken steps, I see that they've been proactive. How long for those naysayers, you know, to no longer have a reason to stay home, to say, okay, I really should go downtown now. It does appear safe. When do you think that can happen?
I'm going to watch it tonight if you want to know the truth.
Yeah.
You know, Thursday is the start of the weekend. I can tell you that where Monday and Tuesday felt kind of slow, and I think Tuesday might have been a direct result of that video and the incident on the Riverwalk. Downtown was moving today. People were out on the sidewalks, eating outside, and I think tonight I'm going to go out and look at the streets and see if how the foot traffic feels.
But you don't recommend, I think it's a good recommendation on your part, you know, let's enjoy downtown. Let's get the most out of it. There are wonderful businesses down there. The restaurants are awesome. We all know that. But your recommendation perhaps is don't stay too late.
Well, I don't. I mean, I kind of look at, I mean, I know this is the, you know, when I was growing up, I had a curfew at midnight, and I kind of still adhere to that because I live downtown, I walk my dog downtown, but I typically am inside between 11 and 12. And if I'm out in the evening hours, I'm with a group of people. I'm in areas that are well populated, where businesses are open, and I feel safe. 2 o'clock in the morning, no, I personally would not be out on the sidewalks, but I wouldn't be out on the streets in Somerville or anywhere else at 2 o'clock.
No, that's a good point. I was going to say, you know, we live in what I would consider a pretty good neighborhood, but I would not walk my street at 2 a.m. Well, as Margaret said at the top of her interview, we are thinking about those victims, Ashley and Wesley. We do hope that they continue to get better, and you are a stand-up person for coming on here in the middle of this busy week, and I really appreciate it. Before you know it, it'll be Christmas. We'll be lighting the tree. Everything will be good. But thank you for what you're doing on behalf of downtown.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Margaret Woodard, Director of the Downtown Development Authority, working hard down there to keep downtown going strong. When we come back on the Means Report, we are going to talk about lupus with an expert who can help you not only know what it is, but know how to help somebody who might have it. Maybe it's you. It's silent in so many ways. We'll talk lupus when the Means Report continues.